Reality bites too. Fantasies can also bite. Good evening, America. I'd like to announce this Thursday evening that I shall be embarking on a continuation of my Reality Bites 2 script. Started the scene at the bar. Troy is up on stage playing some songs with his band, and Michael's having some drinks with Vicky and Leilani. Troy finishes the set and begins talking to Michael, Leilani, and Vicky. My version of the scene is a rewrite, embellished by me to reflect my romantic and narcissistic desires. Excuse me, Leilani, what is Michael doing here? He decided to drop in. Nice set, Michael. I'm here to fly Leilani and I to New York City. I edited her documentary, and I would like to premiere it at different theaters there. I didn't agree to that. I thought that after seeing what I did with your documentary, you would most certainly be interested in going with me to New York City to give people an opportunity to see what a wonderful filmmaker you are. I don't like what you have done with it at all. You edited out all the parts that are supposed to show the dramatic arc of my happiness, sadness, inner searchings, yearnings, life goals, romantic longings, and philosophical ruminations, and sensationalize it to make it marketable to Philistines. When the checks start coming in, you'll be more than happy with my product, I'm sure. My artistic integrity is the most valuable commodity there is. I know I'm going to be able to succeed with this eventually. You stick with me, I can guarantee you instant success. I'm looking for artistic success. If I can achieve that, the money will follow. What about me? Go with me and you will travel the world with my rock band. So far, you have only traveled to local coffee houses. All of a sudden, the former lover of Ilana shows up to speak to them. His name is Mike Meyer, and he has come to try to get the romance started again. Hi, Leilana. Mike? I don't believe my eyes. You don't think I forgot about you, do you? I haven't forgotten about you, Mike. So how have you been? Who is this guy? Oh, pardon me, Troy. This is Mike. We go way back. What do you do, Mike? I'm in a rock band and I run a theater company. This evening, we are putting on a performance of William Shakespeare plays. Would you like to come? Sure, I would. I would like to tell you people something else that is very interesting. You people are archetypal characters in a script. The real life characters who portray you can be visited if you come with me. Really? Yes, it's a fact that in real life, my character is being played by a guy who also has the name Mike Meyer. The Leilana Pierce character is being played by Winona Ryder. In real life, Mike Meyer is very close to realizing his dream of meeting Winona Ryder, the woman he feels that he's preordained to consummate his love with. The consummation of his love would confer immortality to both of them. True love has that power. Let's go see the play tonight. Are you people with me on this? Everybody nods their approval and they go to see the performance. Here's an excerpt from it. All right, let me get my William Shakespeare book. Okay. Okay. Let's see, which one do I want to do? Let's see. The Taming of the Shrew. Okay. Nah. How about, see, is there one that I haven't done here? Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Scene 4. El's in Or. The guard platform of the castle enter Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus. The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold. It is a nipping and an eager air. What hour now? Wait a minute. Oh. Where's it? Yeah. I think it lacks a 12. No, it is struck. Indeed, I heard it not. It then draws near the season, wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. A flourish of trumpets and 2 pieces go off. What does this mean? The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse. Keep a sail, and the swaggering upspring reels. And as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge. Is it a custom? I'm merry is it. But to my mind, though I am native here, and to the manner born, it is a custom, more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed revel, east and west, makes us traduced and taxed of other nations. They cleap us drunkards and, with swinish phrase, soil our addition, and indeed, it takes from our achievement, though performed at height. The pith and marrow of our attributes, so oft it chances to particular men, that for some vicious mole of nature in them, as in their birth, wherein they are not guilty, since nature cannot choose his origin, but the overgrowth of some complexion, of breaking down the pales and forts of reason, or by some habit that too much over heavens the form of plausive manners, that these men carrying, I say, the stamp of one defect, being nature's livery or fortune's star, his virtues else be as they pure as grace, as infinite as man may undergo. Shall in general censure take corruption from that particular fault, the dram of eel doth all the noble substance of a doubt to his own scandal. Enter Ghost. Look, here it comes. Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned, bring with thee ears from heaven or blast from hell. Be thy intent wicked or charitable, thou canst in such questionable shape that I shall speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet. Answer me. Let not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonizing bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements by the sepulchre. Where the cells going on, At the ponderous and marble jaws, the case upon them. Why they hideous, hardly to shake disposition, with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. So where? Okay, so that was a little sample of that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Now we get back to the Reality Bites script. Let's see. Um, they thoroughly enjoyed the William Shakespeare performances that evening and gathered in front of the theater known as the Mystic Woods Theater to discuss a play that they had just seen. Mike walks up to Leilani to talk to her about it. So, Leilani, how did you like it? I thought it was spectacular. In particular, I enjoyed the Romeo and Juliet performance so much. I agree. It's amazing how they spoke in that era. The sophistication of their social interaction was incredible. To actually speak to each other in poetic phrases, a person would have to be acutely brilliant, I would think, to always have a statement or a response ready in a poetic form. How about it? To have poetry falling out of you so easily seems so impressive. Do you have any favorite line that was spoken in that play? I like when Juliet starts to say that she is tempted to take back the love that she has given to Romeo. I like that too. The implication is that when love is taken back from a person and then given it to them again, it's such a sublimely and gloriously numinous and pleasurable feeling to get the love that you lost back. It's like she took it away just so they could both feel the pleasure to rediscover each other. That's the genius of William Shakespeare. He understands the human psyche. Mike, it is so nice to be with a person who you can have a profound conversation with. And you love rock and roll too? I'm so glad you returned to me. Yeah, it's so cool, Leilani. We both love the same kind of music. And we both love literature that was written centuries ago. Our love is immortal and crosses the boundaries of time. Boundaries that for us are only gateways to new corridors of enlightenment to explore. Would you like to stay for the encore presentation? Definitely. This is so wonderful. Mike and Leilani stay for the encore present performance as the rest of the people went home. Here's an excerpt from it. Let me get my Shakespeare book out again. Uh, let's do Romeo and Juliet. Okay. I want to start out this reading of this play with just like the introduction by Stuart Gillespie. Romeo and Juliet is usually dated to the mid 1590s, well before any of Shakespeare's major tragedies of the 1600s. Hmm. The question of the play's relation to these later works is worth raising first. Okay. Modern readers are inclined to equate tragic power with large quotients of bleakness and pessimism. This is one reason why, in the late 20th century, King Lear is often felt to represent the apogee of Shakespeare's tragic work. But the absence of such qualities in Romeo and Juliet is not a sufficient reason to relegate it to a lower status as a tragedy. Nor is the presence of in it of remarkably effective comic scenes, which can easily be paralleled from later tragedies. But in the two respects in which the play can most readily be seen as operating within the tragic pattern, limitations are in evidence. First, the supernatural elements in the situation, though frequently referred to by the characters, seem to not to create the effective tragic forces in play. The prologue famously refers to star-crossed lovers, and Romeo begins by describing his fear of some consequence he had hanging in the stars that will expire the term of his life. But these references to fate and fortune never build up to a coherent explanation for the play's catastrophe. Romeo's death scene itself offers no suggestion of cosmic forces at work, and the chain of events which led to it, described by Friar Lawrence in his final resume as a mere sequence of accidents. Secondly, the 2 points in Act 5 offering scope for climactic tragic intensity, containing the deaths of Romeo and Juliet 50 lines apart in Act 5, Scene 3, are both emotionally frigid. This is somebody that really thinks about this stuff. Okay. Neither character looks death in the face as it really is. Death is to them a relief, almost a mere figure of speech. Amazing, 1970. Um, I disagree with some of this stuff, by the way. I think some of these. I think the play is like actually bolstered by some of the points that this guy is making, but you don't have to agree with everything you read. Okay, none of this is to deny that the play can boast wonderful qualities at incomparable moments. This is merely to say that we should not imagine its appeal to life principally in its tragicality or associated too strongly with Shakespeare's later tragedies. In other ways, in fact, the play gains by comparison with later Shakespearean works. Not a few of Shakespeare's later young lovers seem insipid and half hearted creations when we recall the robust and vibrant energy with which Romeo and Juliet are invested. Yeah, I agree with that. Just the passion of their intense um, uh, feelings for each other is truly remarkable. Okay. Shakespeare's achievement here does not lie in giving the lovers truth to life in any direct sense. The extreme youth of Juliet, for example, seems to have more to do with romance than with contemporary reality. In the balcony scene, 2.2, which T.S. Eliot called a kind of image of the perfection of verse drama, Eliot, 1951, what matters is not a realistic effect, but an atmosphere of wonder and delight. Hmm. Um, Here, as so often in the play, the most striking impression is of the poetry. A poetry of exhilarated surges, magically swift, light, and intense. Here are the transports of an imagination which is recklessly quick and headlong, but also accurate and subtle. Nor will any audience forget the two characters of Shakespeare added to those found in the story, as he knew it from his source. Arthur Brooks' poem, The Tragical History of Romeo and Juliet, the nurse in Mercutio. The former's cosmic verbosity certainly suggests she is one of the characters in which the author delighted, Johnson, 1765. And no actor who is capable of speaking the lines can really fail with the part. Here is perhaps Shakespeare's first greatly human verse speech. Everett, 1989. Its rhythms are so supple that some early editions erroneously printed parts of it as prose. The phrases are hers and hers alone. Character unfolds it with each phrase. Granville Barker, 1930. But she is more than a detached personality, a character sketch in the play. The nurse's discourse operates with the region of the painfully funny and ultimately has similarities with that of Lear's fool. Like him, she is licensed to speak profound nonsense. Everett, 1989. But Mercutio is perhaps this play's greatest single invention. His exquisite ebullience and overflow of youthful life, Coleridge, 1818, issues out in his wit, in which arena he is the only match for Romeo. Um, it, it was once said that Shakespeare was obliged to kill Mercutio in the third act, but lest he be killed by him. Johnson, 1765, that Mercutio's appeal risks overbalancing the play and distracting us from the lovers. Mercutio's death is at any rate something of a showstopper. It involves a serious sense of the loss, more serious in many ways than those we experience with the lovers. They have made worms meat of me. I have it, and soundly too. 3.1 are Mercutio's last words. He has no regrets nor any hypocrisy of resignation, but dies with his teeth set impenitently himself to the last. Okay, so now let's go to the play. Scene 2, Capulet's origin. Okay. Enter Romeo. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. Enter Juliet above the window. But soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. That thou, her maid, art more fair than she, be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vessel liveries but sick and green, and not but fools that were cast it off. It is my lady, oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks that she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses, I will answer it. I am too bold, 'tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fair stars and all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes, to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the eerie region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand? Oh, that it were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek. I mean, she speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel. For thou art as glorious of this night being over my head, as a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him. When he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if wilt thou will, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn by love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this? 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, not though not a Montag. What's a Montag? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. There'll be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. I take thee at thy word, call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I never will be Romeo. So this is pretty interesting. It's pretty much saying that whatever name you have, whatever you've been named by your parents, is like pretty much what's in a name. I mean, what does it really mean? It's like it's just phonetically, it's just like a word, and then what you are is really the the sum total of your past, present, future, your dreams, your hopes, your desires, your intuitions, your um, fantasies, your goals, your philosophies, your needs, your wants, your passions, your stuff like that. Okay. What man art thou? Thus be screened in night, so stumblest on my counsel. By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I had written, I would tear the words. My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and Amante? Neither, fair maid, if either thee is like. How canst thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here. With love's light wings did I overperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do, that dares love attempt, therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me. If they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. I would not for the world they saw thee here. I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes. But thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate, but then death prorogued wanting thy love. By whose direction foundst thou out this place? By love that first did prompt me to inquire. He let me in counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet were thou as far as that vast ocean washed with the farthest sea, I should adventure for such merchandise. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, also will the maiden blush bepaint my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell for, fain to my but farewell compliments. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye. And I will take thy word, yet if thou swearest, thou mayst prove false as lovers' perjuries. They say, love, Joe laughs, oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love me, pronounce it faithfully, or if thou thinkst I am too cruelly won, I'll frown and be perverse, and say thee nay. So thou wilt woo, but else, not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I am too fine. And therefore thou must think my behavior light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess. But that thou also heard. But true love's passion, therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which a dark night hath so discovered. Lady, by yonder blessed moon, I vow that tips with silver all these fruit-free tales. Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconsistent moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. What shall I swear by? Do not swear at all. Or if thou wilt, swear by the gracious self, which is the God of my alder tree, and I'll believe thee. If my heart's dear love, well, do not swear, although I joy in thee. I have no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash to advise too sudden. Too like the lightning, which doth cease to be. Ere one can say it lightens, sweet good night. This bottle of love by summer's ripening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, as a sweet repose and rest. Come to thy heart, is that within my breast? Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? What satisfaction you thou have tonight? The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love? But to be frank and to give it thee again, and yet I wish for the thing that I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear Lord, and on good nurse, sweet man, thank you, true. Okay, so that was enough of that. Back to the reality bite script. Huh. Michael Atlanta thoroughly enjoyed the encore presentation of William Shakespeare's plays and went back to Mike's condominium in San Francisco. His condominium is a beautiful building architecturally with its ornate windows that overlook the Bay Bridge. Mike looks into Leilana's brown eyes and speaks to her. Is this not a lovely view of the Bay Bridge, Leilana? That it is, Mike. I look out the window at night and remember some of the great nights we spent together under the Bay Bridge, embracing each other, staring at each other's eyes as we felt the union of our souls. The love that we felt for each other was something that was communicated with each other to each other with our eyes, and something that we both felt that was innate to our being. Those were enchanting nights, Mike. I want that back, Leilana. That feeling of being so profoundly in love. Stuck in Texas, Mike. You are not stuck in Texas, Leilana. Move to San Francisco. How do you propose I do that? How would you like to be an actress in my productions of William Shakespeare plays? I don't have any experience acting. I think it would be great if you tried it out. You could practice with me tonight in my condominium. I would have to leave some friends behind. Life is full of compromises, Layla, and I think you would make a lot of new friends in San Francisco. I'll have to think it over. It's a big life decision. Leilana finds a box in Mike's condominium with pictures of them by the Bay Bridge when they were in their 20s. Wow, Mike. You have some great pictures of us from the past. What great memories these are. We look so young. Look at how happy we look, Leilana. San Francisco is such a place for romance. Maybe I will move back here, Mike. I'll try acting, but I also want to continue my career as a documentarian. You'll be able to. Okay, let's do some acting. I'm ready. Yeah, let's. Okay, the great feeling I have is coming back to me. I'm so glad you came back into my life. Mike and Leilana performs in a dialogue in Romeo and Juliet. Mike and Leilana thoroughly enjoyed practicing the Romeo and Juliet dialogue. That was so beautiful. Winona, you seem to have a natural gift for acting. This was a surprise to me. I've been a documentarian in my career. I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy, how to love acting. Something that found in acting is a way to really to get to know yourself. I agree with that, Winona. You can have a dialogue with yourself and probe the innermost depths of your soul. And that way, it gives me A way to explore emotions in myself, both good and bad, and find stability. It's a wonderful thing. I agree. I have a question for you, Leilana. As a documentarian, what is the artistic essence of what you want to capture on film? I'm fascinated by providing a glimpse into other people's lives. It's fascinating to me to think about that as I am experiencing many different things, other people are also experiencing a variety of things. Our lifelines may sometimes cross, and when they do, they can form a whole new lifeline that presents itself with a new series of events that a person may identify as being good or bad. Whether or not experiences are good or bad is in many ways subjective and is unique to he or she who experiences them. Do you think that there is such a thing as an ideal life that was perfectly lived with no mistakes? No. Mistakes can be the subconscious actually advising us to make better decisions. You have to get to know your subconscious if you want to live your happiest possible life. That's where your wisest, most evolved self resides. I've also heard that it's where dreams are born. It is. I'm a person with a lot of curiosity. It's fascinating to know what other people's life histories are. The thought of what some person was doing many years ago, excuse me, while I was living my life in tandem with them, but in a different place, is fascinating to me. It is fascinating to me too, Leilana. The real life Mike Meyer who portrays me likes to watch movies that were filmed in San Francisco in the 70s and 80s. And think about what Winona Ryder was doing at the exact moment of a particular scene that he was watching. He knows from documentaries that he was seen of her that she lived in Petaluma, California then. He likes to imagine what she may have been doing at exact moments of scenes he is watching. That is fascinating. Yeah, I think that it's a beautiful obsession. That's somebody who feels a deep connection to another person. I think that romance is built on obsession. Do you want to practice some more Romeo and Juliet? Yeah, that's wonderful. Let's perform the play. Mike and Leilana performed again. Mike and Leilana thoroughly enjoyed their performance of Romeo and Juliet and look at each other with passion in their eyes. I really hope you decide to live in San Francisco with me, Leilana. Believe me, Mike, I want to, but I'm contractually bound to a series of documentaries that I'm producing about saving the American buffalo. That is a wonderful cause, Leilana. The American buffalo is such an icon. Could you uh, produce these documentaries while still living with me in San Francisco? They seem to want me to be in Texas as a resident for now, so I can gain an understanding of the collective psyche of the Texas people and how it relates to the American buffalo. Yeah, I think that the American buffalo holds a kind of spiritual significance to it that enlightens the people of Texas with a feeling of connectedness to a reality that transcends time and space. Yes, I agree. Within this reality, they can see colors never seen by human eyes. feel emotions never felt by human minds, touch things never felt by human skin, and hear things never heard by human ears. Yes, they can. So beautiful. Yes, it is. But if you come with me, Leilani, I can introduce you to the people of San Francisco, who can introduce you to the transcendent pleasures of the mind, body, spirit, and soul that can be accessed through traveling to a higher plane of existence by profound love. Yes, that would be exciting. We shouldn't feel stuck here. I want you so much, Leilana. Do you want to practice some more William Shakespeare? Sure. How about Romeo and Juliet? Sure. Mike and Leilana practice again. Mike and Leilana thoroughly enjoyed performing the Romeo and Juliet dialogue and sat on the couch at Mike's condominium in San Francisco, overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge, discussing many things. I was thinking about something very interesting, Leilana. Yeah, well, what is that like? I was thinking about the power of movies. I was thinking about how amazing it is that when you watch a movie, something is taking place before your eyes. A movie is a record of the past, but watching a movie brings a piece of the past into the present, where you can relive these moments into the future. Visiting these moments from the past, feeling a deep connection to your younger self as you continue to get older. Yes, indeed, Mike, I agree. These beautiful scenes from Winona Ryder movies are suspended in time where they can be accessed and where Mike Meyer can feel a deeply platonic connection to her as he thinks about her, about how his life relates to hers, and ponders the transcendent realities that involve them being exposed to the beauties and pleasures that immortal love bestows upon people. That was beautifully expressed. When Mike Meyer watches Winona Ryder movies, he is able to keep those moments in time in his heart. It brings him back to a place in the past that he can continue to immerse himself in as he continues to navigate the future. It's a wonderful thing. Mike and Leilani kissed passionately that night with a profound love in their hearts for each other as the moonlight shone upon the ocean by the Golden Gate Bridge. The city of San Francisco seemed to be enlivened by a sense of stark existence. Mike and Leilani got up the next day and were greeted by a warm sun that warmed their bodies and raised their spirits. They went to a restaurant in the city called breakfast for breakfast called Pancakes by the Bay. How do you like the pancakes, Leilana? These pancakes are incredible. I'm glad you like the pancakes, Leilana. They are so good. I've had a lot of pancakes in my life. I've had some great pancakes, but these pancakes are ridiculously delicious. How do they prepare these pancakes? I've got something to tell you, Leilana. These are just ordinary pancakes. They are no ordinary pancakes. These pancakes are sumptuous. Yeah, but they are sumptuous for a reason that is not culinary. What could that be? Let's take a trip to the kitchen where they make the pancakes. Mike and Leilana walked to the kitchen to talk to the chef that Mike knows. Her name is Chef Penelope. Hi, Chef Penelope. How are you? I'm doing great, Mike. Who is this lovely young woman? This is Leilana Pierce, my lovely girlfriend. She is lovely. I brought her here to the kitchen to show that her that these are pancakes are just ordinary pancakes. Indeed, Leilana, they are just ordinary pancakes. See, this is just store-bought pancake mix. They don't taste like ordinary pancakes. They are just ordinary pancakes. They are ordinary pancakes. They taste extraordinary because they are flavored by an ingredient that is not culinary. What is that? Love. Everything in your life is heightened to a level of sublime pleasure by your love. Your platonic love gives meaning and significance to the most ordinary and mundane pleasures. True pleasure can only be experienced, can only be felt when it is experienced by the mind, body, and spirits and soul interacting with each other in connection to the aforementioned and another human being. Welcome to love, Leilana. It is a land of exquisite pleasure, populated by you and Mike. Glad I ordered the pancakes. Mike and Leilana went back to Mike's condominium overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. It is mid-afternoon and the sun is in the highest point of the sky for the day. Warm summer sunshine fills the living room, blanketing Mike and Leilana with a feeling of optimism for a future of love. They sit on the couch and begin talking. How would you describe love, Leilana? That's a pretty deep question for today, Mike. I feel love on an intuitive level. Can you elaborate on that, Leilana? Yes, I can. I can elaborate on that by asking you a question. Would you love me if I wasn't beautiful? Yes. Can you elaborate on that? Yes, I can elaborate on that. I would love you if you were hideous. It does help that you are beautiful. The most important aspect of your beauty is that which is inside of you that is eternally beautiful. It's your beautiful soul, mind, heart, and intelligence that most attracts me the most. These wonderful attributes will live on with you eternally in beautiful manifestations and worlds beyond this fleeting temporal place we inhabit. That is, if you decide to stay with me. Come again? When predestined lovers find each other is a fulfillment of destiny that bestows immortality upon them. It is a union of souls that results in a combined soul entity being stronger than the separate souls. The combined soul entity is so strong that it lives on forever. For now, let's think about how love fits into this dangerous and wildly unpredictable world that we inhabit. Yes, that's a good point, Leilana. Yes, it is. In this world, love is a feeling of comfort and relief from truly terrifying situations. It is built on trust and mutual respect and is the most humanizing aspect of life. I agree with that. Maybe we are in love. They continue having a wonderful conversation. Michael and Leilana continue to have profound conversations on the couch in the living room of Mike's San Francisco condominium. Day turned to night as they gazed upon a gloriously big setting sun, followed by a luminous evening lit by pulsating planets and stars. Now that it's evening, would you like to take a walk to the Golden Gate Bridge? Sure, Mike. Mike and Leilana walk to the Golden Gate Bridge where they continue their conversation. Look over there, Leilana. I see it. It looks exactly like you. All of a sudden, a man who exactly resembles Mike walks up to Mike and Leilana. Hi, people. You are my exact counterpart. I'm the person who is writing this very script that you and Leilana are in. Wow, Mike, this is fascinating. How did you enter into your own script as a character? That's the power of writing. A writer creates a reality of his own that exists alongside tangible human reality. These parallel realities manipulate each other. The world of the imagination is created by the subconscious and the conscious collaborating to achieve goals in both this material world that we inhabit and non material planes of existence from which this temporary reality has emerged. That's the reality that you inhabit. It is a reality that I created. Far out, Mike. I have an idea for you and Leilana. If Leilana filmed her documentary about my quest to meet Winona Ryder, the person who I feel I am predestined to be with, maybe Winona Ryder would see the movie and see why she was meant to be with me. You can film it here in San Francisco. I think that's a great idea. Winona Ryder grew up around here. Yeah, Winona Ryder is from Petaluma. Okay, that would be amazing. I agree with that. They continued talking and went back to Mike's condominium. Let's see, in tandem with the following, with the showing of this movie, the following is taking place. Winona Ryder goes to see Reality Bites 2, Fancies Goes Play with Janine Garofalo at the Dream Love Theater in San Francisco. They both order a bucket of popcorn and soda pop. They go to their seats to watch the movie. They see the scene where the real life Mike Meyer is talking to the archetypal characters, Mike Meyer and Leilana Pierce, and giving them advice on how to facilitate Leilana Pierce moving to San Francisco by filming a documentary there. It's always interesting to watch yourself in a movie, isn't it, Janine? Yes, it is. I think people are very critical of themselves, so it can be hard to watch yourself. It's easier to watch other people because you don't really care if they embarrass themselves. How about it? I acted in this movie with Mike Meyer and thought he was terrific in it. This notion that we are predestined lovers is really convincing to me. I would agree with that, Winona. He seems to really believe that the consummation of his love for you would confer immortality to both of you. Immortality is the ultimate human quest. You can have a lot of material things in this world, but when this life is over, the thought of non existence is a thought that is so hard to accept. I wonder where life takes place beyond this tangible reality we have here. I think it takes place in a place that transcends time and space. That sounds like a nice place. Let's watch the movie. Yeah, let's. Winona and Janine watch the movie. Here's a scene from it. Leilana and Mike are sitting in Mike's condominium in San Francisco at night, talking and looking at the Golden Gate Bridge, glistening in the moonlight. Would you like a beer, Mike? Sure. What do you have? Anchor Steam. I love that. It's brewed here in San Francisco. I brought some here. So, Leilana, you like the idea of filming a documentary of Mike Meyer's quest to meet Winona Ryder? Yes, I do. But I have to finish my filming of my documentary of the American buffalo in Texas. Stuck in Texas for a while. Can you film this for now and return to that? No, I have to finish it. I'm contractually bound. That sucks. Also, I want you to appear in my theater production of William Shakespeare plays. Can you appear in them while you are filming your documentaries? Yeah. Would you like to practice some William Shakespeare dialogue tonight? Sure. Mike and Leilana practice again. Here's an example. Okay, so that was my uh, that was some more dialogue that I wrote for my Reality Bites 2 script. I intend to write some more of this stuff in the future and hopefully get the film produced. At this point, the dialogue that I've written for this movie far exceeds the average length of about 90 minutes for a movie. So it's kind of a continuing saga at this point. But I really like the dialogue that I've written. So I think, it would have to be kind of like modified in some way. It would have to be edited in order to appear in a movie. Because when you really think about it, when you watch a movie, you're not really seeing like, it's not like watching a William Shakespeare play or something. It's more like, it's kind of it's a combination of like, some of these like the body language that you see in a movie and like different movements and scenery and stuff like that. And a lot is being conveyed just with people's eyes and with um, just different events that transpire in a movie. So I would have to pretty much just kind of like, just come up with dialogue that's like kind of like succinctly fashioned in a way that you could fit it into like typical 90-minute format of a film, or maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, whatever it would be. And, see like which of this dialogue would be appropriate for the movie. I would like it to get like an R rating actually, so that, it could be a combination of like, some highbrow and lowbrow types of ideas. And let's get this thing happening. Bye, I'll see you.